initial conversations were often about, all right, so there'd been a 28 days, there'd been a 28 weeks. It seems a bit stupid to do 28 months after this amount of time has passed from those films. So 28 years felt more appropriate. But then it was to do with imagining, what does 28 years mean? If the infection is still in Britain, what has happened to the country?
I think the biggest thing was imagining how a world would rebuild itself after an apocalypse. And the premise for this kind of film, where you have retreated to a safe space, protected by a causeway, and a causeway that you can defend when it is exposed by the tide, felt like a really great starting point.
Post-apocalyptic stories largely take place in cities because you see the decay of the houses, the decay of the buildings, and what Danny always wants is some kind of subversion. So this is just green and beautiful, and what you actually have is a community who in many ways are coping very well. There's nothing post-apocalyptic about it. So that's visual subversion.
The film opens on Holy Island. It's a famous island where, Christianity came to England. It's where the Vikings first attacked Britain. So it's a very famous place in British history, in the north of England, near Scotland, on the east coast.
Here we go! Everyone ready? Roll sound!
We wanted, obviously, Holy Island and the mainland to look very different. The island is a place that is touched by the human hand. We wanted lots of smoke. We wanted this idea of kind of agriculture and controlled nature, whereas when you got onto the mainland, it was this superabundance, this hyper-real, almost lurid green colours. So we found that kind of juxtaposition of those two things really important.
These films are set in the north of England, and we've been all over Yorkshire and Northumberland. It's afforded us these landscapes, these incredibly wild and varied landscapes. So it didn't take much to imagine how we could turn it into a land that hasn't been touched for 28 years.
The northeast of England, it's not used a lot for filming. It's Northumbria, it's quite a wild area, which suited our story because the country is naturally rewilding, so it suited our story. But it also gives you a source. It's quite close to Holy Island. It gives you the accent.
Oh, look, the angel.
Which is what people are listening to as a Geordie accent, a beautiful sing-song accent from the north.
You remember the first time you showed me the angel? You said it would stand like this forever. Like the pyramids or Stonehenge.
Danny talked to me early on about England, about the beauty of England, the rural beauty. It looks like something out of a romantic painting from the early 19th century. It's just breathtaking up here. And we've been lucky enough to build our Bone Temple in an extraordinary location in North Yorkshire, in a sort of cleft of meadows that are adjacent to a river, and across the river is a wood. And I think that's a factor of the film, is the proximity to nature.
Do you know the words memento mori?
No.
It means remember death.
We wanted to create something that felt rooted in the history of Britain. So we were looking a lot at images of Neolithic henges and the idea of creating something that has a real architectural discipline to it and that also speaks to a sense of time.
The Bone Temple went through a lot of iterations before we kind of landed on this particular design. Danny very much wanted to have it outside in nature. So we kind of were given a mandate to go hell for leather with the kind of scale. There's 1,000 uprights. All of the bones on the uprights are all individually cast. All of these skulls are as well. There's something like 5,500 skulls, 250,000 individual bones. So yeah, the Bone Temple from start to finish took 6 months to produce.
The work that's gone into creating it is really remarkable, especially when you're creating a world from scratch. This has come from someone's mind, and the kind of energy and creativity that has to go into that. It's been really inspiring.
It's a fantastic design by Gareth and Carson. I was very impressed by the depth of their detail and their imagination. That's what I loved about the first 28 days later, which the real thought had gone into, well, how are people surviving now without everything? And I think we did it on this. I really believe this. I feel this is someone's really thought through this world.
You have a responsibility, if you return to this idea, to try and produce ideas within it that are fresh and different and new and original. And I think the idea of Kelson's memorial to those who've been destroyed by the infection, it's a beautiful thing. I think some of it came out of COVID, and it's very moving.
There is something about this location that it feels as though it's been here for a really long time. When we saw it on the monitor, it was like, this is insane. Like, you really feel it in each frame. It's more than you could ever imagine it would be. The scene where Spike climbs the spire, it was just so emotionally intense.
First you think, this is so weird, and then you gradually begin to see that it's something actually very beautiful and very unusual in this kind of movie.
It's new life. The new day begins.
And in fact, you hand over 20 minutes of the film, when in this kind of movie, it's normally a trigger for carnage, and you hand it over to this rather beautiful memorial for those we have lost.
Love you, Mum.
And cut. That's the performance. It's beautiful. Absolutely glorious.